up 1-0 in this series.
Yeah, they've taken the early lead, but like we said, this is a best of 5. So even if they win this game, there's still another one, at least one more on the way.
Yeah, there's an awful lot of League of Legends to be had today and this weekend as well, Kobe. So make sure you tune into all of that. But EG, now swapping sides, going to move out. And I think we are going to see a level 1 invade. Maybe not for kills, but certainly with Annie, a lot of teams like to use that AoE stun to try and invade early.
So he's got his stun charged up all the way, as noted by the half mana bar. And both supports, once again, have started with the Dorans. They've said, yo, great, you've introduced all these amazing gold per 5 items for supports. We're just going to go with back to Dorans.
Yeah, I mean, as we said, Crepo does like his Dorans, and Bubba seems to like it here as well. So lots of action, but Robert actually gets cleaved. Bouncing bomb going to move through. It's all flash starting there, and Robert actually very much in trouble. There's the short fuse coming through, and Undertow's going to clean him out.
Okay, so Robert, at the point that he was caught by that Annie stun, I was thinking that he was just going to give himself up for dead and not flash, but he actually flashes and barrier, which is a huge loss. On this patch, getting the first blood doesn't actually mean as much as before. It's a lot less gold that you get for it, but burning 2 summoners means just as much as it ever did. That is going to be really hard for him in lane.
Yeah, and Crepo burnt both of his, but Yellow Pit still has both his flash and his barrier available here. So Robert does give up the first blood there, and you mentioned it before, Crepo wants to make plays here, does so on Annie there for the first blood.
He has not wasted any time, and it's the same old Crepo. They were able to secure that first blood, and it went to Snoopy, but because of that reduced gold value, even though he went back to base, he's got nothing to say for it.
Yeah, but when he does go back for that first shopping trip, the potential level 4 gank will look very, very scary once he moves in. But junglers are going to start their buffs now. Looks like Olaf's going to get his blue, and we're going to have Broken Shard actually start towards the red. So both of them going to be looking for the top lane.
Now the one thing here for Determined Gaming that, you know, even though Robert had to burn both summoners, Olaf as a jungler early on is not that scary coming in from ganks. He only has a slow, not a hard CC. So I think that as long as Determined play a bit safer and they just pour under those wards in the river, then they should be okay and wait. They could just wait out the cooldowns on those summoners. Since they were burned actually so early into the game, it wasn't even close to minion spawning.
Yep, Snoopy just going to hang out at the race, continue his farm. Broken Shard off towards the blue buff now as well. So should hit level 3 nice and early. And going to be able to look for the top lane if he wants to. And if you're going to keep Mundo down, you kind of have to do it early.
And wow, that stat for Snoopy actually is surprising. I remember he did well in the last game, but he kind of snuck up there. Only died 1 time and got extremely, extremely tanky.
I'm kind of busy watching everyone else from EG look good. Focusing on Crepo, Snoopy.
Yeah, he's off to a really good start here, though. And in the bottom lane, it's as expected. They're going to have the upper hand because Robert knows he does not have a barrier to fall back on. And like we said, the early trading potential of an Annie and Lucian lane is extremely high.
Yeah, looks like Broken Shard hanging out towards the top lane now. Gonna maybe look for a gank here, especially without the spell shield, as you mentioned, down the bottom lane. They're very hard for Sivir to really get any work done, and Vi's gonna back off.
Now, the thing is, this is the 3.14 patch. So the trinkets that you buy, since everyone has bought this yellow trinket, they show how many wards you've placed. And Broken Shard should have looked at Inox's inventory, moused over his ward trinket right there, and seen that he's placed the ward. So he wasted a little bit of time right there. It's one of my favorite tricks that's now gone in the current live patch that you can't actually do anymore. But it just made gankings for junglers so efficient. You can check how many wards each laner has placed and usually guess where it's been placed.
Is that the penance for the Sivir spell shield being so long?
Yeah, I mean, I was really happy with that. It's no longer live though, so you can't really make use of it now.
No. But it looks like, again, we are going to have a pause. For me, Kobe, one of the most interesting matchups here is actually in the mid lane. We've got Orianna versus Ziggs. Now, Ori was very, very popular for quite a long time, but haven't seen her nearly as much now.
Yeah, Orianna, you know, she can go pretty even with Ziggs there. That's a farming kind of skill matchup, but Ziggs definitely still has the upper hand in pushing. Since he can wave clear so easily and harass while he's doing it. Cheering there for the tech crew.
Hey man, they're doing good work.
Good view.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, just to let you know, Crepo's computer is actually being switched out. So despite playing so well, having a few issues there, unfortunately. So we'll get that done as quick as we possibly can.
Too many plays.
He was too good.
Wore through.
They're nerfing him.
Wore through that Q button.
It's all gone. He needs a new keyboard as well. Needs to be replaced.
Don't start with the conspiracies here. North America sabotaging the EU team that came over.
Said nothing. I'm neutral. I'm Australian. That's how that works.
Oh, that's perfect. Perfect. The neutral party coming in. All right, but yeah, I'm excited for especially the bottom lane because I think that Robert and Bubbledub can pull this one back, even though they're behind very early and against a Lee Shenanigans nonetheless. If he can farm under the turret, well, then he'll be fine, and he'll be able to get back this because he is at Sivir, and Sivir's looking for the later game impact that she's going to bring with her ultimate.
Yeah, it's just kind of as long as they don't die again. That's the key thing here. But Crepo's got no summoners left. Level 6 could get a little scary with Tibbers coming up. But Spell Shield, I mean, Robert's a great player. He should be able to shield any sort of stun coming through. And they're going to be good from there. So looking up towards the top lane, I said we're looking at Renekton and Mundo, actually. Two kind of curious landers. You think Mundo actually has the advantage here on this patch? Why is that?
Well, I mean, later, once he gets more tanky, becomes a lot harder to deal with than Renekton does. Early on, Renekton, like always, he's the beast in the top lane. He's got more damage. All you have to do is charge up your rage, and once you just hold on to that, any empowered abilities just make you win the trade. So Mundo really stays a bit further back in the early game, just kind of CSs, similar to like he did last game at the turret. And he should be fine.
Yep, so we're actually got a replay for you guys. So we're going to go check out that first blood once again here while we get things swapped around. And Kobe, take us through what happened.
Okay, let's relive this moment. I'll try not to scream once again this time. But Robert, it's just, you always, when you're invading that tri-bush, you send your first skill shot right to that back pot, because even though that's a spot that everybody kind of sits at, they feel more safe there. He lands the cleaver. That was enough for Crepo not to hesitate, jumps in with the flash, lands the stun, and there's nothing he can do to get away from it. I was thinking he would just hold on to summoners and take his death like a man, but he decides to flash away and barrier as well.
Yeah, just took it all, unfortunately, and did die there. I mean, Crepo, I mean, that shows team cohesion to me. If he's instantly flashing when a cleaver hits, that's really, like, brave play from Crepo. I mean, yes, he wants to make plays. Yeah. We saw it last game in Leona, but to trust your teammate that much, to be like, I'm going in.
I mean, yeah, we keep on talking up the Crepo plays, but he's taking a risk when doing that, because if you flash in there that early and you don't land the stun, then you're going to be the one down summoners.
Yeah, but a nice first blood there for EG. Not a huge deal, as you mentioned here on this patch, but a good start for Evil Geniuses once again. And that was the story for them last game. They got off to a great start in Game 1.
They did get off to a great start in Game 1. Game 2, though, it'll be really interesting because I guess the gold has already creeped out to about 800. So it's even more than just that first blood. It's also the CS. They're doing very well in the CS.
So I have to ask you, Kirby, as a jungler, what do you think of the lack of Elise actually here in this draft? Because twice now she's completely fallen through the draft.
Yeah, Elise extremely popular in solo queue as well. Just she has such high early game impact, and her ganks are extremely potent, especially early on. But in this, these two junglers here, they're kind of looking more for later game impact. I mean, you want to have that vault breaker for the end game, and then Snoopy likes to be on that Olaf, be able to dive the carries and stick in that fight for a long period of time. Once the game goes on later, Elise transforms kind of. During the team fight, she's really relying on the skill shots and the poking. And if one of those cocoons, goes wide or something, then in a team fight, she's not going to be worth as much as someone like a giant Olaf who's going to be beating down your AD carry.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where, back before when Evil Geniuses were the European version, I suppose, one of the criticisms of Snoopy was that he just didn't really adapt to the changes in meta, but he's playing Olaf here, a champion that's kind of seen the renaissance almost here in League of Legends, and it's nice to see him just looking solid and playing really well.
Yeah, plus there's that mastery I keep talking about.
It's really good.
I should probably stop talking about, but man, it is powerful.
If you haven't tried it at home, try Perseverance. It's pretty good. Does that come Kobe approved? Is that how that goes?
Yeah, it did. It got balanced.
Okay.
It got balanced.
Not here, of course, because they are playing on 3.14 here.
Yep.
Seen a lot of fun here. I mean, determined, pick a comp that seems a little not out of the ordinary for them, but I think Westrice isn't quite playing his favorite champion. You got to play Kha'Zix last game. He's playing Renekton this game.
That's true. They don't really have that assassin that's really kind of defined their team play. But this time it'll be more conventional. They're looking for the 5v5 fights. When they stick together, it's a very, very potent team because Vi can catch someone out and force the engage because, man, Sivir's going to speed her up. She's going to get off her ultimate. And then they have a very beefy team that can stick in there for the long haul in the extended team fights. So it'll be very interesting once we do get to that mid game and they start contesting dragons and stuff like that. I think that DTG actually have maybe a better dragon fighting team than they usually do.
And to be fair, Westeros actually does play Renekton as well, so it's not like a champion that he's never played before that's completely out of his comfort zone.
Like all top laners.
Yeah, it's certainly on the aggressive end as well. He's not playing like Shyvana, for example, who I think was open this game as well.
I think that was the only top lane ban.
Actually. It was the ban, and Mundo was picked up. So, I mean, kind of has to default to Renekton, and Renekton, he used to see tons of play, but one of the reasons he's dropped out is Dr. Mundo and Shyvana. He just can't really compete with them.
They just get so tanky over there in the late game. It'll be interesting to see. This time, Olaf is also going to have the dive buddy of Mundo. Both of those guys could go where they please because Olaf throws off all CC, and that is a very scary duo that's going to become chasing you around. But like we said, this DTG team, very good at the clumped up 5 vs 5. So they'll probably make use of the Shockwave and the Sivir Ultimate to control the battlefield and enable Robert to be able to get off that damage and kite. Yeah,
it feels very similar to last game, actually, where Determined seemed to have the late game in terms of team fight. They had a really strong team if they could get there, but the story was EG just got ahead and were able to get it done. So we'll see if that happens again. And if Crepo can keep making plays, and he uses the flash button like it's a Q on cooldown or something. He loves to hit that button. We'll see what happens here. We are going to get back into this game here. Hopefully everything's okay. Crepo's new computer, I'm sure, very shiny. The Yellow Pit Crepo hanging out down towards the bottom lane. Nothing massive here right now, but especially here in the lower levels, we're going to have to watch Determined Gaming's bottom lane.
Let's watch the upper levels, because Olaf's going in there for a gank.
Westeros there does get out there. Ooh, bit short on the undertow, unfortunately. Ooh,
got some slows.
Still hits him there. Westeros maybe forced to flash here. Looks like Ziggs in the mid, forced to get out as well there. As the satchel shot's going to get popped in. Crepo finds the stun, actually. Yellow Pit immediately going to dive in, and he's going to poke back and forth there. Great little trade, but ooh, Yellow Pit.
Good answer.
Death sentence in there as well. Back actually pops the barrier. Crepo round the back, he wants the kill. He's popping it everywhere he can go, but he can't quite get it. Yellow Pete though does get away on a sliver of health.
Both AD carries getting away with sub 50 HP right there. This is all about the supports lane. This is the supports making the plays, and both of them almost coming away with kills right there.
And it looks like Snoopy once again gonna come for Westeros. Didn't blow any summoners last time. Huge chunk of damage though he takes. And a big one there as well for Olaf.
Now when you go and gank a Renekton, very good stun there by Crepo, by the way.
Very nice.
You can knock Vi out of her Vault Breaker when it's charged up. It will go on, only half the cooldown, but definitely worth it right there. Nice defensive play from Crepo. Anyway, when you go and you gank a Renekton, you want to not go from directly behind him because you allow that double slice and dice, which is a very easy escape, and he doesn't have to burn any summoners. You always want to go from the side when you're ganking a Renekton, or you want to expect the slice and dice and bait him out by walking back a little bit.
Yeah, and you mentioned Crepo before is really looking good in the last game and kind of dictating the pace here in this lane. Or Broken Shard though, he's hanging out, Bubba up looking for the death sentence, but I think they know what's up.
So you can do that as a jungler and just wait in the lane. Wow, they get the play.
Good play actually. Yellow Pete in a lot of trouble. That looks like it might be a kill, and Robert X Lee gets the answer he wanted.
All right. Well, Bubba Dub is coming up big right there. He throws out the hook, it doesn't land it, but he gets in range for the play, and that's enough. Now Westeros goes aggressive.
Yeah, Inox could be in trouble. Ignite down onto Mundo as well. No ultimate available. He's going to try and run as fast as he can. The flash is up for Renekton, but decides pushing him out of lane is enough.
Yeah, so Westeros, he's trying to make something happen because he knows he does not want to let this Mundo get super tanky, but because he's trying to go so aggressive, Mundo actually doing fine in the CS. Not only is he even right now, but he's got a nice wave coming to him. So as long as he can CS that under his turret, he'll actually be pulling ahead in gold.
Yeah, and using that Ignite for Westeros is going to make it even harder to kill that Mundo. And Inox is on the way to level 6 as we see Pobelter hanging out in the mid, just chunking away, pushing as hard as he can on Ziggs. Actually has a sizable CS lead as a result.
Wow, Snoopy doing a lot of early ganks here. He wants to make something happen bottom, but they're so close to the turret. Be very difficult.
Just walks down, throws an axe, and says see you later. Going to probably help the push out here as well. Broken Shard actually off towards the top side of the map now as well. Maybe looking for a gank, but not quite level 6 yet, but could still sneak around Pobelter. We saw before, the one thing that got him is a beautiful satchel charge happens. Nice ult from Arthalon though, and Pobelter wants to throw the ultimate, but I think he knows he's in trouble. Vault Breaker moving through now as well. He's trying to run somewhere, does get knocked up, but he's okay.
Yeah. You're able to hit the Vault Breaker, but when you know your laner can't back you up anymore, Arthalon had been chunked down too early. You don't want to waste any time there taking on that solo laner by yourself. And he actually goes to rotate to his red buff instead of holding that mid lane because he doesn't want to allow Snoopy the chance to counter it.
Oh, Westeros now proxying up towards the top lane as well, so Going to keep these minion waves pushed in on Inox as much as he can. The ultimate is now up for Dr. Mundo, so he's probably going to be fairly safe here as Snoop is going to donate the blue over to Ziggs. Thought for a second he was going to pick it up, but besides Spirit Stone's enough there.
It would be very nice to have on Snoop. I'm sure he'd enjoy that, but since Pobelter's doing so well already, adding a blue buff into that Ziggs-Orianna matchup is going to make it even more painful for Arthalon there. Orianna really having a tough time here because now Pobelter can just continually spam out all of his abilities to clear the wave and force Arthalon to try and CS under turret.
And I like this from EG. I think they are trying to steal away the enemy blue now as well, actually. You see Snoop and Pobelter rotating around, and Broken Shard's going to get a surprise he does not like. There's Snoop coming through there. The pink ward actually put down. That's very aggressive from EG.
Yeah, I mean, Broken Shard's got his smite, but Arthalon's probably not going to get this blue buff. Oh, Pobelter steals.
He does. Very nice work there from Ziggs, picking it up down the bottom. Yellow Pete in trouble as he is out of the way. Now Barbado looking to go through. The damage in there from the Q as well. Great double stun there, and Inox in a whole lot of trouble up towards the top lane. Now he pops his ultimate. Going to kite Westrice around, and he'll be okay. Throwing a trinket in his face like, yeah, have that.
That's that ignite that you're talking about, Westrice using earlier, not back up now. So when Mundo pops his ultimate, nothing stopping him from regenning.
And you were talking before in the mid lane how blue's so good for Pobelter as Broken Shard's going to find Snoop at level 6
they both
actually.
Missed both of their skill shots right there. A jungler fight, you know, not much coming of that one.
No.
It's pretty futile.
But he's going to continue to kind of walk back slowly towards the jungle here and see what happens. The yellow peak quite low here in the bottom lane, but look at the mid. Pobelter just pushing in time and time again, and without blue buff, this is really hard for Arthalon to hold off.
Yeah, Pobelter holding on to both those blue buffs. He got the refresh on the duration from stealing Arthalon's away, and he's feeling fantastic about the situation. Look at that CS difference. That is disgusting.
And this is the Pobelter we were hoping would show up, I guess, or at least if you're evil geniuses, you hope he plays his way. Looking really good here early on in game 2 as well, and looked solid in the last game, but Broken Shard, he's having a sniff.
Looks like he wants to come in and check Pobelter. They do miss.
Beautiful satchel charge there from Ziggs. You can hear the crowd there. They're impressed, and so are we. That was a very nice
smirk
escape.
from Pobelter as well. He's happy about that one.
And he seems like a player where if he's really feeling himself, if he's feeling confident, it seems like he just plays even better.
So there's a double-edged sword there because Pobelter will also go for some crazy dives there. When he feels that he's ahead, he could be prone to overextending. We'll have to see if he actually gets carried away with himself or not.
So up towards the top now, Inox just fighting Westrice away. You're actually keeping pretty close in CS. About 10 the difference here. He's going to clean these out from under his tower. Tower not too damaged either, so Westrice trying to be aggressive early on here in this lane. Hasn't really found a way to get on top of Inox. And he's going aggressive here. He's got Tiamat once again here for his item build.
Yeah, Tiamat definitely great for Renekton for shoving that lane into the turret there, which is another way to try and keep Mundo down. And have him CS under the turret, but man, Westrice is getting to the point where it is going to be hard for him to keep that Inox in check. And since Inox is the one running teleport, it's actually bringing a lot more threat for his team because he can join them elsewhere on the map for objectives.
Yep, so it looks like Yellow Pete hasn't quite gone shopping at all those, building a Trinity Force, which is, I guess, the other build we do see from Lucian. We see Bloodthirster a lot of the time, but looks like with the Ruby Crystal plus the Longsword, he's going to go Phage into an eventual T-Force.
Yeah, you can go with the Trinity Force build early. Wow, Robert pops the ultimate. Okay.
Feeling keen? Doesn't quite go though, and looks like crap on Yellow Pete. Just gonna back away.
He got me to sit up straight real quick. That's about
He knew you were watching. He's like, Kobe's not sitting up straight. I'm gonna make him pay attention. Here's Arthalon gonna get the blue wraith for himself. Always nice for the mid lane to get the wraith, but Arthalon, he really needs to play catch up on CS. He's miles behind.
Yeah, it's gonna be very difficult for him to get back into it. Because, like we said, Ziggs is the shoving champion. He's just going to continually do that. Not much is going to change here.
Inox could actually be in trouble here as Westrice uses every trick in the book. There's the masochism pop from Mundo. He's like, uh-oh, need some of my health back. Gonna last it under the tower. I mean, as long as, if Westrice can't actually kill him with the all-in, but does have his ignite back, Inox is totally happy with what's happening.
And Inox, he actually also has the option, since they're up top, to go farm double golems. If he gets to the point where he feels like Westrice has kill potential on him, then he can always retreat into the jungle and come back to farm a turret.
Yep, so it looks like Determined just kind of sniffing around the mid once again. Broken Shard really wants to kill Pobelter, but there's a nice ward being placed down there, and Pobelter is really feeling himself in the mid lane.
Yeah, good ward by him, but here we go, the stun does land.
Oh, bear down as well. Robert actually needs to be careful. Didn't click the lantern, the ward play.
So that's a very cheeky little play that we've seen quite a lot, is dropping not only wards, but pretty much anything you can on top of the lantern to block it so that your opponent cannot click on it. The tippers was there as well, just for good effect. And they're able to take down Robert and looking for the objective after.
Yep, Evil Genius is going to pick up a dragon a little later than they picked it up in game one. Again, just looking so cohesive here as this team determined they're sniffing around to maybe trying to find the steal.
Wow, they're being very cautious about this one, taking out all of the wards.
Yeah, they've got to be careful though. I saw the teleport started by Inox, but
wow, they're
didn't
still
want to
waiting.
go. Oh, good ult there as well for Orianna. The dragon does go down though, and Crepe could be in a little bit of trouble. Had the stun, didn't want to throw it over the wall, and a bit of a weird one, but the first dragon.
All right, so it was actually really good that they waited that long because Snoop did smite early, and he did not get the dragon with his smite. So it looks like it was a good call there.
But props to EG. Yellow Pete did manage to pick up the slack there for Snooper, and he did get the first dragon. So again, a nice early 2,000 gold lead.
Babelter now grabbing another blue as well. So the pain continues for Arthalon at mid.
If he gets denied another blue here, and again, they were up at very similar times, so it should be back up now at this point as well. He doesn't have his... Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think Snoop is actually in place to counter this one because he got so low tanking that dragon for years.
Yellow Pete now 1v2 down the bottom, but just using his smooth moves there. Lucian, something we didn't mention, but when you have a dash like this as an AD carry, you're even better against a champion like Thresh as well, which is kind of a nice little extra.
Yeah, he dodges both skill shots right there. It's nice jukes from Yellow Pete.
Yep, and now Arthalon gets a little low, has a bit of trouble, but is able to solve the blue buff for himself, and he'll be very, very happy to have that picked up. Again, the CS lead, really massive between those two. It's closing on 40. As we have
so let's
the dragon up. Uh-oh.
Let's take a look. The EU jungler import that they've gotten. Red buff is very difficult. There's the Broken Shard smite, and looks like Lizard wins out in this fight.
You win this time, Lizard.
Tricky Lizard.
Very tricky. Poor Broken Shard there. Didn't quite catch that one, but everyone else did. And that was unfortunate, to say the least.
Yeah, that's...
No red buff this time. As Pobelter in the mid on Ziggs, blue buff still going. He's going to be pushing as hard as he can. Tower very low for Evil Genius in the bottom lane there. They're going to have to watch out.
All right. So we're going to have to watch that Robert running from the fountain. It looks like they have a good pink ward as well in this bottom bush. So they won't have the surprise attacks from Crepo. Well, never mind. They just cleared out the pink ward because they sniffed that one out. One of the drawbacks of getting that side lane or side bush control is that pink ward's now being visible. You can just walk in there and auto attack them. So Belter is not letting Determined to have anything, even their own Wraith.
No, and that's a very bold use of your ultimate if you're Pobelter, to use it to steal away the Wraith camp, but just annoy and damage the jungler a little bit.
So it was actually a really good move by Pobelter. He damaged Broken Shard with that ulti too. So if Broken Shard died to another jungle camp, which he apparently he might do again, then it was a really sneaky play there because he'll get kill credit.
So one thing I do want to ask you about, Kobe, is trinkets is something we've really seen come out in 3.1 form that you've mentioned. EG did this last game, but they have a very fast triple red trinket.
That's a pretty quick triple red trinket, you're right. Already looking for those sweeping lenses. And you do need to upgrade those as well before they become extremely useful. So it's a pretty good little investment that you're going to have to make because you're not able to use it again for a nice cooldown. So what you want to do is place your ward, then go back to base, then sell it and buy the new trinket.
So Pobelter, as you can see, looking good in the mid, still streets ahead in terms of CS, and looking to take out the first turret of the game, actually, potentially 1v1. That short fuse passive there from Ziggs, looking really good in terms of getting that tower down. I mean, Arthalon going to defend with the blue buff as best he can, as Mundo sniffing for something here. They are going to go in towards the back. Inox there, as Robert actually pops the ultimate, and that's really smart play from both teams.
Yeah, teleport burned, but nothing gained there. And it is going to give Westright alone time up there top. It looks like they're making the rotation already, so Snoopy will probably be able to clean up most of these minions. We'll have to see if Westrice can actually cut him off before he gets there.
And that's the first teleport we've seen from Inox that wasn't massively high impact, unfortunately. He's looked really good with those ports for the most part, but couldn't quite make it happen there as Snoopy actually here on top of Westrice. The tower does go down as Renekton gets enough time to take it out in the top lane, and Determined Gaming catching up nicely at 2 towers to none.
It was a very good answer there. Westrice was able to make Inox pay for that teleport. Not only was it unsuccessful in grabbing a kill, but now the top turret being down does allow Westrice a lot more room to work with up top.
It looks like Snoopy just clearing them out in the mid here. Westrice wants to stick around as much as he can, just annoy Snoopy. Good damage actually coming out there. He's just trying to split push as best he can, and Inox desperately needs to get back up towards the top lane because Snoopy can't quite contend with all that power.
Yeah, talk about wave clear. Ziggs down in the mid lane is doing a great job, but a Renekton that's ahead and has the Tiamat does a great job as well.
You can see how quickly it turns around here. Westrice does not like Inox one bit. The Cleaver actually going to hit here. Snoopy looking for the chain slows here. There's one more Q. It's going to be Q train here. And Westrice, he's kind of in trouble. He does have his flash. Used it there as Broken Shard's going to come in. Pobelter misses the ultimate of it. Moves Arthlon out of the way with a satchel charge. Assault battery though on top of Pobelter as he's low. But Westrice goes down to Ziggs. Now Kreplo joining the fray as well. The Lantern up there. But Broken Shard moves up the wrong way and they're standing on top of it. Denying it once again. 3 clean kills for EG.
Oh, the evacuation mission has gone wrong for Determined Gaming there. Everyone trying to get Westrice out of the bad spot, but they just end up dying themselves and giving up their turret.
Oh, Bubba pop back in there as well. That's beautiful play. And that's going to be yet another kill there. 4 in a row, plus a tower for EG.
Belter with the satchel charge to grab Bubba for that one. And now we've got the Annie, Tibbers, taking up the turret. They're going to go for 2.
EG are going to get 3 here, it looks like, Kobe. They weren't happy that they were down 2 over turrets.
Robert gets bursted down 2, but they're not close enough to capitalize.
Yellow Pete, though, does clean out that turret in the bottom as well. Cleavers almost cleaned up Paul Robert X. Lee. He did have his summoners, so hopefully would have been able to live there. But all of a sudden, EG, one great little fight around Baron there. They clean up the map, though.
Yeah, apparently when it rains it pours here, they've just got a huge chunk of gold. A giant lead that they've been able to grab. And now it's up to Determined. They can try and answer with this dragon objective and grab a little bit of that back while EG are shopping.
Yep, so Dragon is going to go to Determined, it looks like here, although they're rotating down. Pobelter will have his ultimate. I wonder if he wants to just throw a blind and see what happens. No, there it goes. There. Inox actually going to get grabbed up here. Mundo could be in a little bit of trouble. Pops his ult. There's 4 people chasing him now. There's a satchel charge moving them out of the way. And Pobelter once again really on point with those charges.
Yeah, Inox did get caught and he had to blow his ultimate, but they also got Sivir's ult down. So that's really big for them.
Yeah, looks like Inox is going to clear out the mid now as well. It should be equal on Dragons now as Determined Gaming picks up the last one, but Evil Geniuses once again looking aggressive here as Yellow Beat's hanging out with Crepo. Oh, we're going to try and steal a Broken Shot. Could be in trouble there as the damage moves in. Did get the red buff, so Crepo actually gets himself grabbed up. The Culling popped in there as well. Bobbin taking a big chunk of damage to Tibbers. Looking through, but a great shot wave there comes out. Now Yellow Beat's in a ton of trouble there as the Reds are Determined are coming through. Snoopy going to go down as well. And a 3-1 answer there for Determined.
Yeah, bit off a little bit too much there, EG. They wanted to contest that red to see if they could steal it, but since Crepo got hooked right there at the end by Bubba, they had to commit actually to a 4-on-5 fight, and they could not make that one count.
Inox up towards the top lane though will clean out the turret, it seems like, so that's at least some good news there for EG, but they do have to be careful. They were in this spot last time, Kirby, a few thousand gold up, started snowballing here. Determined though brought it back a little. If you're EG, what's your game plan to win this time? Because the last time was Inox split push.
Yeah, I mean, they can split push again with Inox, but Mundo not, quite as effective as that Riven was last time. And like we said, we usually want him in a team fight early if there's going to be a team fight. So he would want to use that teleport extremely early on and have to coordinate very well with Crepo, because Crepo has got an itchy trigger finger. He's been initiating just in the blink of an eye.
Yeah, and he has a Haunting Guys actually as part of his item build. He is going to go for the Talisman this time, it seems like. Has that Ancient Coin ready to go and be upgraded eventually. But, I mean, Crepo, we've seen how aggressive he is already on Leona. Going to try and continue to make plays here as Pobelter with the blue buff almost on his way to Rabadon. So a big power spike coming up in there as well.
Yeah, it looks like both mid laners going with the similar builds that we've been seeing.
What we expect.
Pretty much all day today, yeah. Pobelter, though, it seems like he's always got blue buff on, and he's had no trouble shoving that lane in. Huge CS numbers.
It'd be interesting to see like how many minutes of this game, what percentage did Pobelter get blue, because it's probably going to be quite a bit. But it looks like EG, again, trying to control the vision here. Pink wards all over the shop. Lens is ready to go and sweep as well. And they've defended their mid-turret.
Interesting, a duel down here with Inox and Westrice. Westrice looks like he has the upper hand right now, but he has to be careful about chasing a champion like Mundo.
Yeah, the Masochism does get popped on. Inox fancies
No
himself
ignite.
once again. Westrice lost the last 1v1, so we'll see if he can get it done. Who's better, Mundo or Renekton? And Renekton, I'm very sorry, my friend. You do not have a Doctrine, but Broken Shard's actually coming in. The knock up there for Voltbreaker going to make it happen. Does he have the damage? Enoch has to turn off the Burning Agony. There's the dunk down on top of him with Assault and Battery. And Westrice just dodging the Ziggs ultimate. He'll get out.
All right, so once again, Westrice losing out the duel, but he's got buddies. It's a team game. You got team in the area, and Broken Shard's able to come in, pick up Inox. I don't know if it was part of the bait where Westrice ignited Inox before he popped his ultimate or not, but either way, it really worked out.
It did. So Broken Shard, right place, right time there for that one. As Yellow Feet up towards the top, going to clear out wards here. EG look like they want to do an early Baron almost.
It's extremely hard to do an early Baron now because it's so difficult to get vision control now that you have to have those early swooping lenses and only one pink ward per champion. But EG are doing it. They've already secured vision over that entire area of the map, and Determined have to be very careful.
You know what the best part about that part of the map, Kobe?
Yes.
The blue buff. They're really trying to keep it away from Arthalon as best they can here. There is a pink ward there, though. Determined Gaming sniffing around. Crepo going to find out there's a pink ward there. We're going to have a bit of a ward battle, but Bubba will win for now. Oop, never mind. They cleaned it out.
Thought you could win that ward because, or that war. Here's the initiate.
Good stun there on the Bubba. The damage moving through as Robert X Lee's trying to pop his ult to get him out, but the culling does come through before the Ziggs ult, and that's going to give Yellow Pete that kill. So really nice plays there from EG.
All right, so usually the pink ward wins the ward wars because it takes 5 hits to kill, even though you can see both wards, but the double shot there from Lucian really turning that one around.
Did manage to clear them all out, but EG once again have a stranglehold over that left side of the map here. Westrice pushing in now as well. Inox does have his teleport. He's down the bottom, but over the top there onto Arthalon though, and Yellow Pete's going to clean up yet another kill. EG almost turning into Fnatic, it seems like. They're camping everything.
And Crepo, once again, playing the exact same role as last time. You ban out the Leona, just goes with Annie. It's not quite as long range, but he's got the flash, using that one extremely effectively, and he's able to pull out another very important kill. And because they cleaned out so much of this Baron vision, there's no vision of the health for Determined, but they do know they're there.
Oh, Prepper could be in trouble. Westrice going on top of Annie. Grab that does come out as Death Sentence will land, and Bubba picks it up, but Inox looking for the teleport here as Westrice wants to go in, and he's forced to flash over the top. There's too many members of Evil Geniuses there. And Pobelter doesn't quite have his ultimate, so he can't quite go sniping, unfortunately.
See, that's the problem right there. They cleared out so many bushes, but they had to use all their sweeping lenses in the process, and Determined had snuck one more ward into this little side bush, which just saw them walking over to the Baron area. That's all you need to go contest it.
So, pretty brave Baron attempt there from EG, but I like that they're being aggressive. They're really using their new roster here, using these new solo lane players, and they're playing very, very aggressive. I mean, we saw in game 1, they really had to close the game out in the mid game, and it feels like they're kind of at the same, have the same thing here, but they don't have the same advantage they did at this point in the last game. Well, Smite War does actually get one. There looks like someone picked up the blue. It was Snoopy, actually.
Snoopy won that Snipe War a little bit early there from Broken Shard.
Managed to get it done. Inox actually in the thick of it. Crepo round the side. A good double stun there. Ultimate on top there for Ziggs as well. And he's trying to get out, but there's damage moving in. Oriana doing nice work there, and Snoopy is going to run from this one. Inox completely in and amongst it though on top of Arthalon. He gets the double kill. Now Robert X Lee as well. Just a Mundo up in his drill. That's not where he wants him at all. The triple moving through there, and Olaf sneaks in for the last kill and the ace for EG.
EG get a clean ace right there. This is a nice start. They were a little bit focused on that blue buff steal. Arthalon gets chunked pretty low. There goes the ulti from Crepo, locking 2 people in place. Biden gets Ball Breaker, anyone. And here goes Inox. This is the Mundo running over both damage dealers. He's chased off all of the threat from this Determined team, leaving Westrice to take on 4 members of EG.
They did get the Dragon now onto Baron EG, and I said, Kobe, they didn't quite have the lead they had before. Looks like they've got it back here as Bubba going to try and be a hero. Broken Shot wants to do it again, but can't do it this time as Snoopy's going to pick it up, and he is absolutely dead to rights there. Bubba like, Lantern, buddy, not this time, sorry.
There's no coming back from that one. It was a valiant effort, though, and it did work last game, so can't blame him for trying right there. It's a really big hole now for Determined, though. Much bigger than game 1.
Yeah, we had, what, a few thousand gold, maybe 4 in the last few minutes. All of a sudden, it's about 9k here between these two. EG really climbing towards the dreaded 10k gold lead here, and the item difference pretty phenomenal between these two teams.
And what they can do since Ziggs is so fed, we've got Pobelter with basically the highest damage early build that you can have, the Death Cap plus the Void Staff there. They can just go siege up at turrets, and he can harass while they're taking down the turret. So if they wait there for any amount of time, then he's going to be landing all this AoE magic damage on the entire Determined team. And if they don't make something happen very quickly, they're all just going to slowly be whittled down.
And Baron buff, great for a siege here as well. You can see Robert Exley down towards the bottom trying to get the split push done, but Inox will rotate around to clear these out. Doesn't have his teleport up right now, so he's going to have to be a little careful with rotating with his team. But EG once again in control of this second game here, and just looking to close it out. And Determined Gaming kind of had to hold on for the late game in game one. Couldn't quite get it done. Kobe, if Determined are going to do anything here, what do you think they can do to try and bring this back?
They need to catch somebody out with that Vault Breaker, or the Assault and Battery from Broken Shard. You got to speed him up with the Sivir ulti and catch somebody unawares, because in the 5-on-5 team fights, we've already seen that Inox is going to run over the damage dealers, and the rest of EG are going to have the CC to be able to lock up Determined Gaming, so they really don't want a 5-on-5 fight.
Big amount of vision control coming out there for EG as well. The tower does go down there in the bottom lane as Pobelter's going to pick that up. 5-3 now in turrets here as EG officially get themselves over the 10k gold threshold in terms of lead. Snoopy going to get himself grabbed up, but he's not too worried. Crepo going to take a tap in there as well from Oriana. But we talked about it, Kobe, the Baron's on here. The siege really is on now.
They've got Baron, but at least for Determined's sake, there's no blue buff on Pobelter, so he's missing a little bit extra cooldown reduction, and he will slowly start draining that mana. But like we said, the passive as well, hurting for those turrets, and they're getting the small poke that they need from both him and Yellow Pete.
I mean, the biggest difference in this one is that they've got a super tank now as well in Mundo, so they can do exactly what they're doing now. Walk up, face tank, do a couple of hits there with the passive from Lucian and Ziggs, and they're slowly going to get this tower down. In fact, not even that slowly.
Yeah, pretty quickly, actually. They've also got Snoopy here, who is, again, on Olaf, slowly crept up to a very formidable force who can dive right behind Inox.
And there's just poke coming left, right, and center here. Determined Gaming really digging to defend this inhibitor turret, but if it goes down, a big fight is likely to break out here. I mean, they've still got their abilities. They've got great AoE and CC, so if they can find them in the right spot, if EG overextend, then maybe we can get it done, but they're going to go in.
All right, so they grab the tower pretty easily, and that means there probably won't be a fight around the inhibitor. If you're not going to fight over the turret, then you're not going to fight over the inhibitor because there's no more extra damage.
Yeah, so Determined do the smart thing there and back off there, but Evil Geniuses get the bottom turret now. Should make the next Baron a little bit easier. I believe that should be up within the range of 4 minutes there before that inhibitor is able to come back up. And again, Evil Genius is a big lead. They just have to find a way to close out this game.
Yeah, the thing is, they don't even have to wait for another Baron. If they can grab the blue buff for Pobelter, they can do pretty much the exact same thing that they just did down bottom. Just rotate to another lane and siege up.
And they'll be looking to do just that here, and this one is Crepo stun at the ready. As always here, Snoopy even going to do a bit of counter jungling in there as well. You can see the items really coming up big for EG now as well. Trinity Force Bloodthirster with a likely assist. Oops, Snoopy going to get himself grabbed up. Actually blows the ultimate there, interestingly enough. Does not want to get caught.
Yeah, blowing that ultimate early, not going to hurt them too bad because they're all buying right now, and they're not going to siege up for a good amount of time. So he'll have the cooldown running on that one. And I guess better safe than sorry.
Yeah, he's got quite a lot of CDR as well with his item build, so he's not too worried what's happening. And again, the item's really coming out. I mean, look at this Mundo, Kobe. He is huge.
We talked about Mundo not really getting to that super tank point last game. Inox is definitely there.
Yeah, I mean,
he's going to be able to run through the entire team.
And he did that in the last fight. He just ran through everybody, found Robert Exley, found all the squishies, and it was problems for Determined, to say the least. So really holding on. I mean, Kobe, as we look through this game, EG with such a big lead, Dragon coming back up as well that they could look to pick up, and we've seen how good their objective control is. How did this happen to Determined once again?
I mean, again, this time it was really, it wasn't the Inox teleports changing the game. It more stemmed from that Pobelter domination mid allowed them to gain a lot of ground in the jungle as well. And then they were easily able to control all of the objectives as soon as they got their kills.
Yeah, Inox are going to get death sentence up, but he's okay. I mean, he's Mundo. He's not particularly worried about anything that Determined can throw at him right now. Last Whisper is finished for Robert Exley, but EG going to start the siege once again.
And even though they have teleport up on Inox, it's better to have him with the team for the initial fight rather than have him splitting, because he can't split very far. The only open lane would be mid lane, and that is a very short distance to teleport. Almost takes as long to teleport as it does to walk over.
Yeah, and EG going to get themselves another turret there as well. Really sticking together here. Just sieging down Determined. You see Robert Exley forced to move out there. That could mean EG could look to dive here, and they do have the champion to do so in Dr. Mundo. Robert, I mean, he's got 3 items on Sivir, but he's struggling to clear out the super minions.
Yeah, he's struggling. Meanwhile, Pobelter is just going full damage here. On top of his already Death Cap and Void Staff, he's added another needlessly large rod.
You can see the short fuse there, the passive coming in, just the damage coming through. That's the Sivir ult pop there. Broken Shot takes a big long ride. A great ultimate there from Orianna, but Inox and Crepa around the back on top of Robert Exley as Pobelter picks up a kill on the Vi. There's Snoopay taking out Renekton as well as Restless is going to fall, and now Babadev just gets rampaged through as Orianna and Robert Exley bleeding back towards their base.
You can't blame them for trying there. That's the combo they were wanting to go for. The Shockwave after the... Oh, Archelon, though.
He did pick up the kill on the Ziggs, but I think he's going to pay for it with his life. And EG just rampaging through the base and Determined now. Robert Exley is going to try and cut where he can. Inox still on top of him as Snoopay, not particularly worried, actually dies there. So he gives himself the double kill. But Determined, they got a couple of trade kills back there, lost a lot of their base still. 2 inhibs down now.
All right, Robert is able to chase them out of the base for now. 2 inhibitors down, though, is gigantic. Here goes the beautiful combo. They pulled this one off extremely well, even though Pobelter got his satchel jumped off. It was a good Shockwave combo, and Westrice went in with him, but they're so far behind that they can just get melted very easily as the EG team collapses with all their damage dealers, melts through the tanks, then moves on to the damage.
Yeah, and it's a great looking combo, but that's what Determined Gaming wanted to do 10 minutes ago, at least, maybe even 15 minutes ago, around one of the earlier Dragon fights. I mean, this is desperation Baron Kobe that they're looking for now.
Yeah, it seems like the early game here for Determined has been the story both times. It looks like we only have Crepo here in the area to contest this Baron. We'll have to see if he can actually come up with another hero play.
This would be
they're putting it down.
This would be quite the steal. Pobelter's in range as well. The ultimate's coming in. He does steal it. He grabs the Baron. And Crepo wants to back up, but he's baiting everybody else in. Broken Shot dead as Crepo goes down in there as well. But Yellow Pete chasing him through there as he gets the kill. And Inox this entire time, he teleported before that Baron started. He's just taking out the base.
So Pobelter's ultimate does 1,059 damage right now. Able to steal that one away. Yes, Smite does get up to that point, but he's not level 18 yet, so there's no chance for him to steal it.
Now the face taking happening is actually Archelon picks up the kill down the bottom lane. Inox finally fell, but he does get the inhibitor. EG going to make it triple inhibs now as well, and Baron buff going back and forth as well. Determined in a big hole here in this game. And we saw a great steal from Broken Shard in game 1. That was a steal from Pobelter.
Very nice set here for Baron steals. Pobelter was already making a good case for MVP of this game, but I think that might have just got it for him.
Maybe, just maybe here. He's gonna, I thought he was soloing Dragon for a second. He could almost do it as Yellow Pete's gonna get it instead.
Let's just take a look at that fireball coming in. Oh, he timed it very well with Crepo. That was actually perfectly timed. Right on top of each other. So even more than that 1,000 damage Ziggs ult was also the ult here from Crepo.
Yeah, Tibbers does a reasonable amount of damage, Kobe, that's for sure.
Yeah, you know, he's only got that 400, but that's pretty good too. 14, there's no way you're outsmiting 1,400 damage.
And I love this from Crepo as well. Needlessly large rod, now in the inventory. Has home guard boots, actually. I was hoping he would go the distortion boots and give me the Makako Tabe special. Not this time, unfortunately.
More plays, please. More plays.
He loves to flash.
Yeah, he does.
As Westrice down the bottom, doing what he can to clear out these minion waves. But EG, it's probably going to be one more push here in this game. And they'll be at a point I don't think anybody thought they would be at. Certainly, when I was looking at this match, I didn't know what to expect.
Their backs are really going to be up against the wall after this one. Because, I mean, at this point, Determined are trying to defend the Alamo here. They've got no inhibitors up. They've only got those 2 Nexus turrets and this entire super fed EG team outside. So they really have to be thinking about the changes for next game. And what are they going to ban? Because the Ziggs has been a problem, a real problem here, but so has Crepo.
I mean, I think certainly forced Pobelter to play something else.
Yeah.
Like, we've seen your Ziggs. It's really good. I don't want to play against it anymore. I wonder what else they've got going for here, but EG moving in for the kill here in this one. Bubba going to try and make a hook play happen. Westrise going to charge in there as well. He's on top of everybody there. The ultimate though comes in, good combo, but it's not quite enough damage. And Tib is on top in there as well as Bubba is also going to get felled. 3 kills already to 1 as Crepo, the only member of EG to fall, and they're going to make it 2-0, Kobe.
All right, EG come out so strong. And Crepo still keeping calm. They know. Best of 5. Got one more to do.
Yep, I mean, we've seen this before.